That moves us, that keeps us going, that keeps us bringing us here every Sunday to this place to hear some more words of truth, the truth of our teaching. So I know for each one here that this thing lives in them, they can feel it living in them, and that whenever they seek it, it is there. And saying to you, I've always been here. So know it. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening. I'm opening. I'm opening.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. We are, as we always are, a loving, healing, and inclusive community, which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. And we stand here every Sunday and every day affirming that what lives within us is that peace, which is the peace in the world. And the more of us who affirm that in ourselves and grow in the consciousness of that peace, we bring that peace to the world. And that's what CSL Princeton is all about. And today we have the wonderful opportunity to listen to Reverend Michelle Wadleigh speak, and it's always exciting. I always find that I leave here at the end of the day energized with spiritual energy when I listen to Reverend Michelle. And so I'm really looking forward to what she is going to share with us. Our practitioner today is Damaris Otero-Torres. Next week we have Reverend Karen Kushner. She will be speaking, and she always brings something really interesting for us to think about our practice, about our daily practices. I think the week after that, Regina will be speaking.
On the 21st.
That's right.
I'm back.
Oh, that's right. Reverend Michelle is back. And then Regina will speak, and then I will be speaking. And at the beginning of October, we are going to have a workshop Sunday, but I'll talk more about that. So one of the things that I wanted to say in welcome, for those of you who come here to the Masonic Lodge in Princeton, as you'll notice, we have a consciousness of the divine presence and a small number of people who come here. In order for us to, for instance, run the camera, somebody has to be here. I'm going to be gone 2 Sundays in September, and someone needs to learn how to do that. So I'm just letting you know that there's an opportunity for you newer people, or for those who may be watching at home. If you want to, it's a very simple process. If you want to be more active in supporting this community, there are opportunities. Please see me or Regina after the service, and if you're interested in doing that. So again, welcome, and I'll just say before I pass this on to Reverend Rich, I always think that welcome is not us welcoming you. There isn't an us and you here. There is the presence of spirit, or whatever you want to call it. That's what each one of us is welcoming us to, and we are one in that. That's why we are here. And so I welcome myself, I welcome all of you, and I just suggest that now, whatever you do to welcome yourself into that place within, that place in the world, this is the time to do it. Thank you.
Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in love. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy, gentle. Gentle, easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in joy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy, gentle, easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in peace. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy. Gentle, easy. Ooh.
Good morning, CSL Princeton family. I'm Damaris Otero-Torres, and I serve as a licensed practitioner here at the center, and I'm standing on holy ground, as all of you are. We are here, we are ready to nourish our souls, to nourish our minds, and to know that we're standing on holy ground, and that makes us ready for whatever comes our way. Because we know, as Reverend Richard said, that the path is easy and gentle. So we're ready. So as I was preparing for this contemplative moment this week, I came across this phrase. I'm going to read it. God's vision of me as a perfect expression of life is my vision of myself. I'm going to repeat it. Whoa, we had an accident here, but we're good.
That's the trick scene.
Yeah.
What a reaction.
You're winning.
We're good now. Well, I'm going to repeat it again. God's vision of me as a perfect expression of life is my vision of myself. And as I was taking that into my heart, into my mind, I said, this statement is definitely true. However, how many times in my life do I pause to remember that I am always a choice to stop whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm being, to practice that statement. And that is particularly challenging in those times when I let my small, hairy self to think whatever it wants to think, or whatever, or however it wants to deal with a particular challenge that I may be facing. That small self runs wild. And I forget that God's vision of me as a perfect expression of life is my vision of myself. So if I'm not holding up that big vision, I'm holding God's vision very small. So I'm going to invite you to just sit comfortably in your chairs. I think we're going to do that now. And get centered. And let every inhalation and exhalation take us closer to that sacred center within. So close your eyes. Just let your breath take you to that place of peace, of joy, of delight. And just for a few seconds, let your busy self slow down. Connect to that still small voice within that knows that it knows. And gently ask the infinite mind, what is your vision of me as the perfect expression of life? Let God, let infinite intelligence be your guide and tell you how it sees you. Let your breath take you to that place where there are no contradictions, no excuses, no lies. Let the still small voice whisper in your inner ear. You're talented beyond what you have imagined. You're courageous beyond what you have been able to accept. You're beautiful beyond what you have chosen to see in the mirror. You are whole, regardless of any diagnosis may give you. Let that breath connect you to God's vision, wisdom, and infinite mind. Let that vision know what God's dream of love for you is. It's one of ease, of joy, of peace, of gentleness. And as you keep on breathing, I invite you to ask that infinite intelligence to wipe away any trace of unbelief and invite your true holy self to shine. One breath at a time, one instant at a time, one decision at a time. Trust that you're always aligned with His holy presence. It has never left you alone, and He will never leave you alone because it is within you. It is who you are. It is whose you are. And in that consciousness, I'm going to do a spiritual mantra. This word is for everyone in this room, everyone listening, everyone seeking a community like CSL Princeton. Everyone that is on a quest to grow spiritually. Everyone that you hold dear to your heart and you're willing to release, to surrender to that life within, to that life that is filled with the Spirit of good, with the Spirit of God. There's only one life. That life is God. That life is good. And that is the life that each one of us is choosing right now. A life where there's only joy, where there's only abundance, where there's only delight, where one can relax because one knows that it is being embraced in the arms of Spirit. In this presence, there are no contradictions, there are no delays. There's nothing that can keep us away from allowing that gentleness, that kindness, that love of God guide us to our holy center. It is always there, it is always available, and it is always around you, about within you, outside of you, walking ahead of you and behind you. Each one here is standing on holy ground, and each one here embraces the vision that God has for everyone as the center of love and peace. And so it is. Amen.
So yes.
There's a silence in the morning when the stars still linger low. I sit there with my longing for a truth I've yet to know. Not a whisper, not a thunder, but a stillness drawing near, where the heart begins to wander and the soul begins to hear. I'm driving deep, where the current runs slow, where the dreamer meets the doer and the river starts to flow. In the chamber of the heart, where the seeds of wonder grow, I'm diving deep into the all I've come to know. Oh, I'll rise with my devotion to the work into the flame, Let the winds of pure emotion carve a truth I will not name, for the flow is ever guiding, like a river knows its sea, and the art is in the finding of the flow that flows free, diving deep where the voices always still, and the quiet paints a vision, and the pulse becomes the will. In the garden of the mind, love is shaping every hill. I'm diving deep where the world begins to feel. It's not a gift that is given, it's a song that's always sung, a melody eternal, the air and on the tongue. Creation is a prayer, not for bleeding but for praise. The fire in the artist, in the dawn and all the days. I'm diving deep in the wellspring inside, where the silence turns to color and the soul forgets to hide. In the stillness of the source, I no longer need to try. I'm diving deep in the heart that paints the sky. I'm diving deep in the heart that paints the sky. I'm diving deep in the heart that paints the sky. And now, my greatest pleasure to introduce author, published author, many times, founder of a successful center, wife, mother, all these things.
Nana.
Nana, whatever you, yeah. No, Nona?
No,
Nona,
Nana.
Nana? Okay, so here she is, Reverend Michelle Wadleigh.
Thank you, Rich. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I do love coming here, and Rich, I love some of the music selections this morning. They're different than what I've heard. They were lovely. Very lovely. Are any of those yours?
Yeah.
Yeah? I'm gonna wanna check that out.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today, the title of the lesson today is Life is the Best Classroom. And yet I'm not so sure that you would always agree, but life is most definitely a classroom, but it's one where you signed up, whether you thought you did or not, and yet you weren't given a manual. Anybody have a manual about how to get through life? Like a manual for parenting? You know, we put people through more effort to drive a car than we do to be a parent or than we do to own a gun. And I'm not against guns. I grew up in a house of guns. But the point is, some education might be a good thing for all these different things. So we don't have a guidebook, we don't have a syllabus, and yet you keep figuring it out, don't you? You kind of do. You might feel like you're not. It might feel unfamiliar or difficult, but the truth is you're here. It's not September, Michelle. It's August 31st. Somehow you all managed to get here. So somewhere you have something in place. You have transportation in place. You are fully dressed. And you came into the building on your own. But sometimes we forget to be grateful for these smaller and less, the things we take for granted. But I don't like to do that. So I just, but yet you figured it out. And then all of a sudden there's a spirit throws a monkey wrench in the works. You ever have a monkey wrench? And your monkey wrench might look like maybe you got sick, maybe someone passed sooner than you expected, maybe a job change when it wasn't your choice. There are different ways that a monkey wrench is thrown into the workings of our lives. And some of those things even like divorce, you didn't sign up for initially, or did you? See, I want to say you didn't sign up for it because I want to make it easy on you. I want to give you an out. I really do. But there's a difference whether we want to talk about high truth or whether we want to talk about getting through life the way the abundance of the millions of people on the planet get through. So maybe it's a combination. You know, it's like the kingdoms of consciousness. I know you talk about the kingdoms of consciousness here. Yes, right?
Yes.
So it's like we still have a little bit of a toe in the second kingdom, which is through me, right? No, wait.
No.
To me, by me. The by me kingdom of consciousness, where you're working with spirit to have your life unfold, and then the through me. We all want to be as me. That's the kingdom of consciousness where we live and breathe and have our way in spirit, and there's no question about it, there's no doubt about it, there's none of that. But most of us just visit on occasion, visit there. The rest of us are functioning somewhere between those other two kingdoms, and it's not bad. That's not a bad thing by any means. But I didn't sign up to be a caretaker of a role that I'm suddenly catapulted into. I would have told you, while I was on the first aid squad for 7 years and I raised 3 kids and helped with my grandchildren, I might tell you I'm not a very good caretaker. That might be an honest assessment. I don't actually know if it's honest. I don't know if that's real. My husband would probably say I'm doing a great job. But in my own, right, I didn't see that coming. But it came. And so I have a choice. And my choice is to choose what I chose. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that as a tricky sentence. We forget sometimes to choose what we chose. We chose a relationship. We chose a career. We chose to be in this center, live in this area of the country, and then challenges show up, and we forget that we chose to place ourselves where we are. And so what I always recommend to my people is that you remember to choose what you chose. Does that sound like a riddle? Or you get what that means? To choose what you chose. And you will be more empowered because then you suddenly have agency over what's happening in a way you might not have. And having agency says the power of the presence and the love of the one as me is at my use and when available to me. That's what happens when we take agency. So life didn't come with a manual, and yet it is our teacher, and we're going to figure it out as we go along. And pain, I want to say that pain and joy are both teachers, right? Both pain and joy, and failing. People don't like the idea of failing. Even the word itself, I think, kind of has us cringe. But I've learned more from my failures. I have learned more from my mistakes. I have learned more from my broken relationships than maybe I wish I did. Because I think I would have preferred not to have the failings or not to have the mistakes. But they are part of the path that took me here. There's that great song, Bless the Path. It's not about bless the path that brought you to me, It's like blessing the pain, blessing the joy, blessing the challenge that brought you from where you are to where you were to where you are now. And I want to say, let's get clear about something. As religious scientists, it irks the bejesus out of me when I hear people say, well, that was just a test. That something was a test. You're not not being tested. Do you think that God, the infinite intelligence that is, has time to look at you and say, how can I challenge her today? We are not tested in a way that it is an outside source or an outside intelligence. You need to really get that. As religious scientists, we need to stop saying that. The advanced way of looking at that would be, wow, this part is hard, and now I get to rise up using what I know or using what I'm willing to learn. But nothing outside of me is testing me. Nothing outside of you is testing you. But sometimes it's hard. Sometimes life is hard. Can I get an amen on that?
Amen.
It is. It just is. I'm sorry. This past Wednesday was a really hard day for me. I was reacting. I want to say responding, but responding is way more conscious. I was reacting to some progress in my husband's health that wasn't thrilling me, and it was an emotional day. But I remembered to care for myself through prayer support. I'm in therapy. As a caretaker, if you're a caretaker, get therapy, get help. It's something you can't explain, and you can't put what you're experiencing on the person you're caring for. So you need to arrange for other care. Okay, just want to say that to you. So there I was, and I had an appointment. I'm going to speak to my therapist by phone because they're on the West Coast, and but I didn't want to do Zoom because I wanted to be out of the house and I wanted to be around someplace beautiful. And I live in a town where there's a lot of little lakes, and I'm on one of the little lakes that has this little peninsula, and nobody was there, and I thought I'd be all alone out there, and I'm walking down the path to get this little peninsula, and then I hear kids. I'm like, oh. So I thought, all right, I'll go back and talk in my car. And as I turn around to walk back down the path, the kids are walking up. It's my grandson. With a couple of his friends. And he embraced me, and he wasn't embarrassed by me, which I'm always very impressed, because he's 9 going on 10. And he hugged me and said he loved me. So life provided for me a little thing I needed for that day. And we hugged, and he said, "What are you doing now?" And I said, I wanted to have a conversation. I said, I was looking for some privacy, though. And he skipped a couple of rocks with his friends, and he says to them, "Go ahead, my Nana has to have a conversation." So while life is this classroom and there are challenges with it, it sometimes will provide also an off-ramp. And some of these off-ramps are fun, and some of the off-ramps are joy, some of the off-ramps are love. But it's just important. It's like, all right, I'm spilling my soul here today. I also, and you might already do this, so I beg your forgiveness in advance. When someone says, I need to pray on something before you give an answer. Now, I could see if you said to me, I need to go into contemplation so I can figure out whether that's best for me. Let's say you asked me to, host a barbecue. I'm going to think upon that. But to the thought of having to pray to something, what am I praying to? What's going to tell me whether I should do that or not? Let's remember to own our agency. Let's remember to stand in our power so that when we're choosing what we chose, okay, we just make a decision. Many years ago, I don't know if you remember this, I did this talk. It was one of my favorites from a long time ago. And I said, commit or get off the pot. Which led to one person giving up smoking on the spot, which I thought was kind of cool, right? But just make a decision, because if it is God as us or God through us, we don't have to go outside. You might want to unpack something with a practitioner or a friend, someone who believes in you. But it's not about thinking, am I going to get guidance that's outside of me? Make a decision and trust the presence as you, because that's what life wants you to do. Life wants you to excel. Ernest Holmes says life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks into it. Right? Remember that? Life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker that which she thinks into it. We think into it. There are unlikely teachers. And the unlikely teachers are the challenging relationships. COVID was an unlikely teacher. Anybody learn a few things about yourself during COVID? Who are the introverts in the room? Anybody know you're an introvert? Didn't you love COVID? The introverts loved COVID. I'm one of those. I'm like, oh, I don't have to go out of the house. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. It was wonderful to a degree. I'm not talking about the whole bigger picture. Well, trust me what I'm saying here. But there are unlikely teachers in the form of betrayals, in the form of you wanting to have get a raise in a particular job that you're at, but you're hitting your glass ceiling. And let me say very clearly, the glass ceiling, all glass ceilings are self-imposed. Mm-hmm. Get that? Because sometimes we think there's a glass ceiling that was installed by someone. Mm-hmm. It is not. And everything I've said so far comes back to you taking responsibility, to you taking ownership, right? So while life is a classroom, and sometimes it's like, oh my God, what lesson am I getting today? We also want to remember that we, each of us, have the power, the intelligence, the decision-making capabilities to navigate the really choppy waters of life. We do. We have it. We have it. But you have to remember that you have it. That's the thing. You have to remember that you have it. Every single person is a teacher. Every person in your life is a teacher. And when we call them teachers, we will pull from them the lessons that will move us along instead of criticizing them, instead of bellyaching about them, instead of wishing they weren't in your life. Bless every, I love it from O'Donoghue. What's his first name? Poet. John O'Donoghue, thank you. And he wrote this lovely book in a poem, Bless the Space Between Us. So when we bless the energy between us, when we bless those, you take from every relationship something more valuable than if you condemn it. You get that? Mm-hmm. Your condemnation will sever you from the joy and the advantage and the up-leveling of what's possible. But when you bless the space between you and another, even when it's difficult, you will pull from that relationship something by far more loving and more powerful, by far. You have any resistance to some lessons? Any resistance going on, right? Pay attention to the resistance, because when we resist them, when we cease resisting them, let me make it affirmative, we move toward more comfort and transformation. When we stop resisting. Did I say that right? When we stop, I did that, twisted that, didn't I? When we stop resisting and go into an activity of I accept and I allow, I accept and I allow, then that's an invitation for spirit and life and the lessons to flow in and through us in a really graceful way. I did love that song before. we might want to reframe the detours, some of the detours. We do. We get, all of a sudden, it's the things you think you didn't sign up for, right? And they smack you up the side of the head. Those are the detours, right? Even when you're driving. I love detours. Because all of a sudden I see a neighborhood I never saw. I find a direction I never, my husband and I, 2 years ago, we went down to a conference in Charleston, and we drove. We had decided to drive. So we're driving home, and the plan down, we stayed overnight somewhere on the way down. We were going to do it on the way home, but we just wanted to get home. You know, when you're after a trip. And so we just wanted to get home, and we're on the road, and his GPS took us one way, my GPS took us another, and for some reason, we followed my GPS. My GPS took us up a route from South Carolina to New Jersey that was so beautiful and like calm, with just like a beautiful road. And so we were excited that we saw all these new things and stopped for a lovely lunch somewhere. We did drive straight through because we just wanted to get home. Matter of fact, we're driving to Florida again in December, so we're going to have another opportunity. The point is, the detour is not a no. It's a look this way. The detour with a challenge of a relationship is not no. It's not telling you you failed. It's telling you, you might want to look again. You might want to refeel again. You might want to contemplate a new part of this. And Holmes reminds us, when one door closes, another opens. But we so often look so long and regretfully upon the closed door that we don't even see the one that's opened. Your attention governs your experience. We set an intention, and then our attention on that intention is what opens the doors. But if you're so busy looking at the thing that didn't work, the door that didn't open, the person that was challenging you, and that is your attention, you will not even notice the invitation that's coming up behind you. Are you following me?
Yes.
Be present to what is in front of you,
Yes.
especially with practicing gratitude. Gratitude transforms setbacks into stepping stones, for sure. Gratitude transforms setbacks into stepping stones. And this, I think this, what I'm about to say to you, is probably one of the greatest gifts that we as Science of Mind adherents have in this world today. And that is a solid, absolute conviction, I want to say, to believing that life is happening for you, not to you. Life is happening for you. Now imagine walking around believing that. Wow, saying to yourself, this too is for me. This is for me. This is for me. And what you will take out of that statement, because that's going to guide your attention. And when your attention is what's working for me, life is going to show up differently. Can you get this? Mm-hmm. And this is all about your agency, your responsibility in your life. We are not passive students, we are co-creators with Spirit. A lot of the world doesn't know that. And Troward said, and this is my favorite from Troward, probably yours too, that principle is not bound by precedent. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that, we have to keep letting go of what we thought was working. We have to be willing to create new habits. You have to be willing to think anew, which is a great thing that happens when you're on a detour, because it forces new thinking. And I think I've probably said this to you before, but I want to say it again because I really believe in it. Challenge habits. Challenge your habits that you have now. You all drove here today, right? You probably, the bulk of you probably drove the same way you've always driven to the same spot. Is that fair to say? Go home differently. Drive, even if you're using GPS, make a turn, let it redirect you, go differently. Start changing habits. If you are a habitual person and you always sit in the same seat in your home, if you sit at the same seat at your dining room table, change it up. These little things that you do help to see, oh, like that. What sock do you put on first? Every time you put on socks, right? Do you put the same sock, same foot on almost every time? All right, someone says no, but my guess is many of you probably do. Change it. Change it. Sleep on the other side of the bed. My husband and I do that every couple of years. We switch sides. It's a whole new world. I'm really serious, because if you can't change these small habits and wake up your attention, you won't be able to handle the big ones. This is the way we exercise our movement of mind and expansion. Ernest Holmes said, God is not a person but a presence, not a king. He should have said that sooner. Sorry. But a law, not a judge but a principle, not separate from us but part of us. God is not a person but a presence, not a king but a law, not a judge but a principle, not separate from us but part of us. Which means that even the lessons that unfold and seem to be, like on those people movers, if you're in the wrong direction, the people are going to be coming at you. Well, imagine that these people are coming at you, but you just have a way of moving and ebbing and flowing and allowing so that you can make room, and you have this sense of grace in the way you kind of dodge the challenges that are there. There are some really practical tools, nothing new than anything we've talked about or that I've even talked to you about. Forgiveness, great tool to wake up and shed attachment to people and things. Gratitude, just can't, I don't know what that was. That was somebody else, okay. Gratitude changes every experience into a gift. And I'm actually going to teach you something new today. And curiosity. So you all know what an affirmation is, right? An affirmation mostly beginning with I am, like I am whole, perfect, and complete. I am wonderful and amazing and ready to embrace the world. That's an affirmation, right? Those are good, right? But what I want to encourage you, and I don't remember the name of the book, so you're gonna have to let me get away with that for now. But there's this man, his name is Noah something. And he wrote a book called, you know this book?
Sapiens?
Nope. It's called Affirmations. Anybody ever hear of affirmations? No. Most of us haven't. Oh, you have? Okay. I had never heard of it till recently. Affirmations, according to this gentleman, and I've been working with them and using them with some of my clients. An affirmation is when you start from the end product, right? The end desire. So let's say you have a desire to own a new business. Let's just say that, right? And you have a bakery. You want to bake your healthy cheesecakes, right? You want to bake your healthy cheesecakes, all right? So what happens is you have the picture of the end result in mind. So instead of affirming what you do in this method of affirmation, you will ask a question is, why is it that it is so easy for me to start a new business? Can you feel the difference that why is actually lifting up your attention? Can you get that? So let's just try a few others. Why am I always so happy? Feel the assumption that has to go with that. Why is this Why is this community blossoming? Why are we receiving abundance beyond our expectations? Can you catch what I'm saying to you? When you ask why in the affirming way toward an already finished outcome, it pulls on your subconscious in a different way, and it gets your attention. So when life is being life, because it will continue to be life, life is not going to stop. And I think a lot of people make this mistake when they get into this movement. They think, oh, I'll take these classes and life will be easy. Right? Did you think that a little bit? Did you think that maybe when you came to Science of Mind, life wasn't going to be so hard?
Yep.
And then you found out, oh shit. Right? And we all had those oh shit moments because we were misinformed if we were informed by an outside person, or it's just our own expectations. It's not about life being easy. It's about learning how to painlessly navigate it. It's about remembering you have the skill to navigate it. You have the skill to not be blown away by it. You have the skill to rise above. Are you hearing me? So it's not about life all of a sudden being easy peasy. It's remembering that you have what it takes. And when we believe in that place, then the classroom of life becomes something that's for us all the time. Okay, I love to do these calls and responses, so we're going to do another one. Your response is, I show up ready to learn. Just practice.
I show up ready to learn.
Okay, here we go. When I fall down,
I show up ready to learn.
when the lesson is hard,
I show up ready to learn.
when I face the challenge again,
I show up ready to learn.
when I want to run away,
I show up ready to learn.
when I meet someone who triggers me,
I show up ready to learn.
when the world feels unfair,
I show up ready to learn.
when I forget who I am.
I show up ready to learn.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's Noah St. John.
Noah St. John, thank you.
I show up ready to learn. Thank you, Reverend Michelle.
You're welcome.
And now is our time to express our gratitude for the center, for each other, for the gifts we bring to the service, to each other, for our music, for our beautiful, beautiful place of worship, for the sanctuary, for showing up. So I'm going to challenge each one there watching us in Sewerland to just come over and visit us and hug us and know what we are about. We're a loving, inclusive community who welcomes everyone that wants to keep on growing and learning these principles for ourselves and for the world. So, this is a time when we get to hold our gifts and be grateful. I love what Reverend Michelle said, that gratitude transforms challenges into stepping stones. So let's look at money. Let's look at our gift as a way of learning more about ourselves, of calling more the bounty of Spirit to bless us, the same way we are blessing this community. We need your help, we need your support, we need your energy, we need your agency. Stepping up and saying, I am here because I want to grow, I want to live a plentiful life, and I want to start by believing I have a plentiful life. And nothing is more powerful than you start thinking and acting on it. Because that's the way Spirit works. So I invite you to take your gift and let these words sink into your heart. I'm going to say them once and then you can say them with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Let's say it together. Divine love flowing through me blesses all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And for those out there, you can always donate by going to cslprinceton.org. Okay? We need your support. We want your support. And we want to see you here.
Grateful,
Grateful, yes, I'm grateful, 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 grateful. Grateful, 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 yes, I'm grateful,
grateful for the message,
grateful
for the message,
grateful, yes,
grateful for the message,
grateful,
together join in consciousness to raise the consciousness of this community to being a community that is receptive to good from places known and not known, expected and unexpected. May this basket be multiplied abundantly, overflowing to support this beautiful community. And so it is.
So it is.
And so know with me right now that there is a power and a presence and a love. It is good, it is glorious, it is ebbing and flowing and moving in, through, and as each one of us individually and as the collective. I speak this word not as myself, Michelle, but the I am of me, that is the I am of each of us. It is the I am of the Christ consciousness that we call forth to stake our claim in this community as a powerhouse of movement, of sharing of consciousness and awareness. Let us remember to believe in ourselves, to believe in each other, to bless the board, the practitioners, Reverend Rich, and the activity of this community at large. Let us call into this place individuals that want to drink of this wisdom, now and forevermore. I am so grateful with full faith and conviction. I surrender this word to love, to law, to the awe of life itself. And so it is.
So it is.
Oh.